Welcome to the Smart Driving Cars podcast. Thanks for tuning in once again. This edition is made possible by CARTS, the Corporation for Automated Road Transportation Safety, a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to safe and high-quality mobility for all. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with the Faculty Chair of Autonomous Vehicle Engineering at Princeton University, Alain Kornhauser. Hi, Alain. This is a special edition here. You are on the road from Texas. Tell us where you are.
Well, I'm in Boca Chica, Texas at Starbase. And as you can see, hopefully over my right hand shoulder is the rocket garden here at Starbase. And Elizabeth and Helen and I are taking a visit of Starbase and looking at what SpaceX has constructed here in Texas, and we'll be sometime soon, hopefully, launching Starship. You can see what I think is Booster 6 over my right-hand shoulder, and we're going to go on down the road and go to Megazilla in the launch facility, and hopefully we'll see Booster 7 and Starship 24 and 26 there, and just having a time of my life, checking one off the bucket list.
I was going to say, you're looking like a pretty happy man, Alain.
I am a happy camper because, of course, we tried to come here this morning, but the road was closed. So our effort, because they were doing testing, and then I got a text message this afternoon saying the road is open. So here we are. And we'll take this segment. Maybe in a couple minutes we'll take another one. But it is really phenomenal. And it's amazing to be here in person. Outside the facility, Route 4 is a public road that goes down to Boca Chica Beach, and they can only close it during the week and maybe 4 weekends a year. And otherwise, you can just drive on down and see it. Something you can't do at the Cape, you can't do at Vandenberg, and I haven't tried it in Russia or China. So here we are in good old USA. Rio Grande is just over here, and we'll tell you more in a few minutes.
Well, you know, for our audience, Alain, they may not be aware that as a young man, early in your career, this was your ambition to work in the space program.
Yeah, well, all my degrees are in aerospace engineering, and we're really preparing to go to Mars in the late 60s. And we made it to the moon, but unfortunately, that became very boring very quickly. And I don't think the same thing is happening with driverless vehicles today. Just because we got Waymo and Cruise to do a couple driverless rides in San Francisco and Phoenix, I still think it's going to go and really provide mobility to a lot of people who really will value that mobility and improve their quality of life. But here, this is a view into the future. It is, to me, phenomenal that such a facility has been built, and it's been built by a private company. Yes, it's gotten a lot of help from government assistance and so on and so forth, and have gotten to this point without it. But my goodness, what an accomplishment.
Alain, you've moved along here, so give us an overview of where you are now.
Where we are now is at the launch site, which is about a mile or two down from the Starbase where they assemble these things. And you can see behind me, you can see Booster 7, which that's the one they're preparing, which many of us anticipate will be the first one to launch. And then behind it, the tall tire behind it is the Megazilla, which is the launch tower. And on top, as you can see on top of the booster, you can see the chopsticks. The chopsticks are really ready to grab it and move it over to the launch point, the launch tower, which it has a little railing around it where it's going to launch from. On top of this, they'll stack Starship number 24, I believe it is. I hope I have that right, number 24. And then that two-stage system will blast off from here. I don't know. They were supposed to do it 6 months ago, and but now they're sort of any week now. Maybe this month, maybe not this month. They're going to launch it. I guess they won't let anybody this close because I guess the planes will come out from underneath that sucker. I mean, I don't know. Maybe everything will boil over. Probably not. Although they have yet to light all 33 engines and, on the booster. And when they do, we'll see what happens. The biggest test they've had so far is 31 engines at 50% power. But we'll see what happens, and it'll launch from here. Now, the thought is that not only the second stage, which has the heat shields on it, will then achieve orbit and then re-enter the atmosphere and land somewhere in the Pacific near the Hawaiian Islands. But the booster will then go out over the Caribbean here and then do a flip and do a boost back burn and actually come back essentially right where it is. And with that landing burn, hopefully you reach a point at which it has zero velocity and is right where it needs to be, and the chopsticks are going to grab it, catch it, and then put it back on the launch tower. Really? I mean, who thinks up this stuff? Whatever. But anyway, all excited about being here to actually see it. I mean, I've been watching it with all the, would you show the cameras here on cars that are all around us? Like, these guys just sit here and take video and put it on the tube 24/7. But it's one thing to watch it on internet. It's another thing to sit here and be here and actually see it from this close. I mean, to get this close at Cape Canaveral is, you have to have so many passes and so much whatever. Never get there. Anyway, so nice to report from here. So what do you think, Fred?
Absolutely amazing. Now, we had talked a little bit before, but tell us more about what your thoughts are about this being a private enterprise being able to accomplish this.
Yeah, I mean, one would have thought the governments could. The Russians tried, we tried, the Chinese are not trying. But it looks like maybe what's going to happen here on this thing is that a private company or right now it seems like SpaceX is in the lead, but we also have Bezos's company and out there trying, and there are other companies. So they're out there doing it, and then there are people reporting it like the everyday astronaut. We're all sitting around watching and somewhat cheering, encouraging, because it is an enormous accomplishment. But right down to it, it's probably easier to catch Starship here than it is to make sure you can get a car to drive down our streets and do it safely and provide mobility. That has people involved that are just behaving as they would in normal days. So that's really tough.
I guess you haven't run into Elon down there yet.
No. I'm sure he'll come down for the launch. We haven't spied him. And I think, there are people that are, I think, trying to watch where his plane goes to see when he actually does show up down here, because then everybody on the launch is about to happen. But a lot of preparation has to be done for a launch. The FAA has to give authorization, and these things. It isn't going to be done in secret, and it probably will get scrubbed a few times. Look at Artemis, how many times that was scrubbed before NASA was actually able to do it. So, the expectation that it actually goes on the first somewhat certified launch date is probability that's probably is, 10 to the minus 2 or something, which 10 to the minus 2 is pretty high probability.
And the tanks behind you, are those fuel tanks?
The tanks. Yeah, the tanks. That's all the liquid, the methane and liquid oxygen that has to go into the rocket. You need the fuel and you need the oxidizers. Those tanks, and they have, of course, all the plumbing that goes in there. And on top of the chopsticks, that thing that's on top of the chopsticks is a quick disconnect for the Starship, the second stage. So at the time of launch, just at the time of ignition, minus half a second or something, that thing quickly disconnects because it's provided power and so on, and of course that's how the fuel got in. And there's also one lower on the launch stand that's taking care of the booster. So there's one up and there's one down, and within, I don't know, T-minus 1 second or something, they disconnect. And of course, they start the ignition process 3 seconds before launch time, and they get the engines up to full thrust, and they're holding it down. And there are all these release mechanisms there that all of a sudden have to work and let that sucker go. It hasn't, of course, been tested yet to let the sucker go because one hasn't gone yet. Anyway.
I've read that this has been a little bit controversial for some of the people who are accustomed to going down to Boca Chica for spring break, that it kind of interrupts the atmosphere there. But to you, this is where it's at, right?
Yeah, this is where it's at. So across the channel to Brownsville and so on is South Padre Island getting ready for spring break. I don't know. This thing goes in 2 weeks, maybe, right at the tail end of spring break. They'll have the biggest fireworks they've ever seen down here. I mean, when you light 33 Raptor 2 engines at the same time, whatever, biggest rocket ever ignited.
Really, really exciting, Alan. So tell us, sum up for us how you're feeling being down there and seeing all of this in person, absorbing it.
Well, it just makes it real. I mean, watching it, the amount of money that has to go into do this, to build this. My goodness, this is non-trivial, and to do it in the timelines that they've done it, enormous accomplishment. And it wasn't just Elon. I mean, no one person. It's this whole team. It's everybody. I just went and thanked the guy that was picking up the rubbish around. Thank him for doing that. I mean, it takes everybody to make this happen. From people who pick up rubbish around the site to Elon, up and down. I mean, you got to have a team.
A better investment than Twitter, one might think.
I mean, the Twitters. Look, I mean, Twitter's probably going to turn a profit in a year, and then what are people going to say? Whatever. Twitter needs cleaning up. Whatever.
Well, Alan, this is really terrific. You're taking the time to show our audience what you're looking at down there. Very exciting.
Well, I'm like a kid in a candy store here. I mean, absolute kid in a candy store.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see a launch before too long in person like that too. That would be something. But just being there is pretty good.
With respect to the success of the launch, the expectation, I mean, it's not better than 50-50 that it's going to work. I mean, one can't have that expectation. I mean, everybody's tried and so on, but as we know, we don't know what we don't know. And there are probably a lot of things about this thing that we don't know. Now, whether or not it's going to be able to hold it down and then release it simultaneously, the thing just pops. That's a sufficient number of the 33 Raptor 2 engines, which are basically the most powerful engines ever created. As people put it in. Elon has put it, one of the biggest things with respect to those engines is to get the combustion chamber to not melt. The combustion chamber melts before, they're done thrusting. thing doesn't go up very far. And of course, they have all sorts of detonators on board to be able to destroy it before it all comes down in one big thing and destroys everything. I think one can probably find quotes where it's been said that success on the first launch is not destroying Megazilla. Destroy Megazilla, you got to build another one to do the second launch. So that's what they're up against. So no wonder it's gotten delayed. It didn't happen 6 months ago. It didn't happen 3 months ago. It didn't happen last week. And
just terrific. I've seen a Tesla or two drive by while you're talking. So
maybe
those are employees.
And so on. They're all over the place, of course. I mean, there are all sorts of other cars all over the place too. So it's one big happy family.
Just terrific. Well, thank you, Alan, for spending the time to show us what you're doing down there. Really terrific. And you are going to come back, right? You're not filling out a job application?
They would never hire me. I mean, look, I'll pick up the trash. Anyway.
Just terrific. Well, thank you, Alan. And thank you to CARTS, the Corporation for Automated Road Transportation Safety, for helping to make this special edition of the podcast possible. CARTS is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to safe and high quality mobility for all. You can find us, of course, at smartdrivingcar.com, wherever you get your podcasts, and your smart speakers can play us too. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with Alain Kornhauser. Thanks for listening or watching. Time for the countdown.
Thank you all.